What's up guys, it's Mike Man WBA here, back again with another episode of the Can't Stop Progress series. We are here with episode number 29, and today is a very special episode, not just because we have got the Progress World Cup 2018 special, but because you're going to get both nights of the tournament in the same episode. It's going to be a double episode, so we'll get straight into the show. We don't want to waste any time and make this video any longer than it needs to be. But let's get straight into the action. We're in front of a sold out capacity 3,100 people at Alexandra Palace. We have, as always, Jim Smallman welcoming the crowd to the show, getting us a 32E plus to start us off. And our first match of the tournament pits Canada against Austria, as Speedball Mike Bailey takes on Volta, and in a decent match, Volta defeats Mike Bailey in 10 minutes and 41 seconds by pinfall with a golden bomb. Mike Bailey debuting his old school face gimmick, getting above average, which isn't bad, and getting an in-ring performance of 44 to Volta's 48. No worker improvements, but a 47D is not too bad at all in a match containing our Atlas Division champion and the debuting Mike Bailey. So a decent performance for him. Someone that I've looked to bring in. I nearly brought him in for Super Strong Style, but just didn't quite have enough spaces in the tournament for him. So we've brought him in for the World Cup, and unfortunately cannot make it past our Atlas champion. But Mike Bailey, someone that I might look to bring in again in the future, especially considering that wasn't a bad performance for him. Following that, we have Joe Coffey versus Jurn Simmons, and in a decent match, the Scotsman defeats the Dutchman in 11 minutes and 32 by pinfall with a discus lariat. Jurn Simmons re-debuting his old school face gimmick, getting a great. Coffey with an in-ring performance of 51 and Jurn with a 46. No work improvements on a 51D+. Again, that's quite good for these two guys. Two big, tall, heavy brawlers. And the Scotsman, Joe Coffey, progresses to the next round where he will face Volta. So that'll be the semi-finals. We'll have 6 first-round matches, I should say. 3 semi-finals. And then a 3-way final to determine the winner. Following that match, though, we have a women's #1 contender match, where in a bout that had subpar wrestling and little heat, Sierra Loxton defeats Alex Windsor in 10 minutes and 54 by pinfall with a hooded skull cap. Alex Windsor getting an in-ring performance of 39, Alex Windsor a 34, Sierra Loxton a 39, and an overall match rating of a 41D. Not too bad for two of our women who are quite, I'd say, are towards the lower end of the card in terms of our women's division. Not the most over people on the roster. Following that match, however, we get straight back into the tournament, where in a decent match, Axel Dieter Jr., the German, defeats the Mexican sensation Al Ligero in 12 minutes and 32 seconds by pinfall with a regal plex. Axel Dieter Jr. and Al Ligero both getting in-ring performances of 52, which is very, very nice. Axel Dieter Jr. actually improving his flying skills as well, and we get a match rating of a 56C- for that one, so I'm very happy with that. And Axel Dieter Jr. progresses to the semi-final, and he will be facing the American Adam Cole, who defeats the Irishman Jordan Devlin in 13 minutes and 30 seconds by pinfall. Adam Cole with an in-ring performance of a 58, very impressive, to Jordan Devlin's 45. No work improvements there, unfortunately, but a 56C- is a very good match indeed, and I am happy with the performance of Adam Cole there. Jordan Devlin, not quite as high as I thought he might have been, but 45 is still impressive. Following that, we have another sort of another out of tournament match, but still very much to do with the World Cup, as we have Team UK versus Team USA, where in a bout that had decent wrestling but not a lot of heat, Team USA of JML and OI4K. So that's Shane Strickland, Sammy Callahan, Dave Christ and Jake Christ, or Christ. I keep saying their names differently as well. Team USA defeat Team UK of CCK and the Hunter Brothers. So that's Chris Brooks, Kid Lykos and Jim and Lee Hunter. In 12 minutes and 39 seconds when Jake Christ defeats Lee Hunter by pinfall with a super kick. Some decent in-ring performances here. Lee Hunter with a 47, Jim Hunter with a 44, Kid Lykos with a 55, Chris Brooks with a 43, Jake Christ with a 35, Dave Christ with a 40, Sammy Callahan with a 51, and Shane Strickland with a 46. So some very impressive performances there. Unfortunately, the Christs slightly lower than the other three teams, but still not bad performances all in all. And only the one improvement in that match where Shane Strickland improves his performance skills. Match getting a 51 D+ overall, which isn't bad for a big multi-man tag match. Following on from that, we have the next match in the tournament, where in a poor match, Flash Morgan Webster, the Welshman, defeats the Italian Fabian Eichner in 12 minutes and 8 seconds by pinfall. Fabian Eichner getting an in-ring performance of 34 to Morgan Webster's 45. No work improvements, unfortunately. Not a great in-ring performance by Eichner, but a decent performance by Morgan Webster. It gets us a 44D. And in the next round, they will be facing the Japanese superstar Tetsuo Naito, who defeats Liverpool's #1 Zach Gibson in 14 minutes and 11 seconds by pinfall. With the, we're not going to call it, it's not the Flying Splash, he does it with a Destino. So Tetsuo Naito with an in-ring performance of 60 and Zach Gibson with a 58, so two good performances there. No work improvements, but a 62C match rating there. Best match of the night so far, and very impressive. So in the next round, it will be Tetsuo Naito versus Flash Morgan Webster. And I forgot to mention it, but Adam Cole will be facing Axel Dieter Jr. Then, following on from that, we have William Regal, who is announcing the reward for tonight's main event. So the main event, nothing to do with the World Cup tournament, but we have a 5-way match. I'll go to the next segment just so we can see the participants. We have Dave Mastiff, Leo Rush, Mark Andrews, Marty Skrull and Tyler Bate, where basically if any of these first 4 guys win the match, they can choose a tag team partner of their choice, and they will get a match against the tag team champions at the next chapter. So that will be either War Machine or British Strong Style. They have a match on night 2 of the World Cup. Whoever wins that match will face the winner of this match and their partner of choice. If Tyler Bate wins, then he can either choose the next opponent for British Strong Style, or management have said that if Tyler Bate wins this match, then they will allow British Strong Style to defend their tag team titles using the Freebird rule. So Tyler Bate would be able to defend. However, in a decent match, Leo Rush picks up the win in 13 minutes and 49 when Leo Rush pins Marty Skrull with a surprise cradle while Marty Skrull is doing an elaborate chicken wing setup on Tyler Bate. So unfortunately Marty was really off his game, but still getting a solid 57. Dave Mastiff getting a 47, Leo Rush with the performance of the match with a 61, Mark Andrews with a 55, and Tyler Bate with a 60. Tyler Bate also improving his flying skills, which is nice to see. So Leo Rush will be finding a partner of his choice to participate to challenge for the tag team titles on the next chapter, which I believe will be chapter 68, because the World Cup is not a chapter show. So chapter 68, you will see Leo Rush and his tag team partner of choice fighting for the tag team championships. and you'll see very soon whether that will be against British Strong Style or War Machine. So we end this first night of the World Cup with a 60 seat overall, which isn't bad indeed, improving our popularity in 45 regions. And we are going to congratulate or praise Leah Rush, Marty Skirl, and also let's go for Tyler Bate. They were the guys with the best performances, I think. Actually, rather than Marty, because Marty was off his game, even though he did well, we will congratulate Tetsuo Naito. So those three guys are pleased with our speech, and I will see you guys very, very soon for the next day of the World Cup. Okay, we're back with day 2 of the World Cup. We have got another big show planned for today, so let's get straight into it. And as always, for night 2, Jim Smallman welcoming the crowd to the show. Slightly better than the previous day's introduction, getting a 34E here instead of the 32 he got on the previous day. Again, we've got a sold out Alexandra Palace, so no one decided they weren't going to turn up for the second day. Everyone happy enough with the first night. And let's get straight into some matches. So first up we have Joe Coffey and Volta. But before the match starts, we have Joe Coffey taking a microphone. He's goading Volta into defending the Atlas Championship during the match. He thinks he was the previous champion. Volta took it off him. Coffey never got his rematch, a true rematch at the championship, I don't think. And he wants his shot. And Volta, he thinks he can take it. He thinks he can go on to the final of the tournament. So Volta accepts Joe Coffey's challenge. So the following match is a tournament match, and it is also for the Atlas Championship. And in a decent match, Joe Coffey defeats Volta in 13 minutes and 2 seconds by pinfall with a discus lariat, following interference from 2 hooded figures who run in and attack Volta when Chris Roberts, the referee, obviously taken some kind of bump. He's down. Doesn't see the interference. 2 guys run in. They attack Volta. Joe Coffey takes advantage with the discus lariat and picks up the win, the Atlas Championship, and the spot in the World Cup final. So Joe Coffey with an in-ring performance of 48, Volta with a 46. No worker improvements. And we get a kick-off match rating of 48D+. So not too bad. And Joe Coffey takes that first slot in the final. Following that, we have a decent match where Adam Cole defeats Axel Dieter Jr. in 13 minutes and 45 seconds by pinfall with a last shot. Adam Cole getting an in-ring performance of 58. Axel Dieter Jr. getting a 54. A match rating of 54C-, so another good match. Adam Cole and Dieter Jr. both with impressive in-ring performances, but Adam Cole picking up the win and making it to the final of the tournament. Axel Dieter Jr. just coming up short, just like his ring camp partner. And in our final semi-final match of the night, we have about good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, where Tetsuo Naito defeats Flash Morgan Webster in 11 minutes 37 by pinfall with a Destino. Morgan Webster with an in-ring performance of 52. I think that's probably his best in-ring performance he's got. And Tetsuo Naito with an in-ring performance of 70. So 2 very impressive performances there. Both Naito and Webster improving in their performance skills and getting a match rating of 68C+. So a very, very good match that is. A phenomenal match. Definitely Webster's best match of the series, and one of the company's best matches. So very, very happy with Webster there. And of course Naito putting in a great performance to make it to the final of the tournament. So the final is set at Adam Cole versus Joe Coffey versus Tetsuo Naito. and we'll see who wins that in the main event. Following on from that, we have a Roy Johnson Wasteman Challenge. He always pops up in these tournaments. He doesn't quite make it into them, but he wants his chance at a victory on the night. So he's coming out and he's challenging anyone in the back to a match. And that call is answered by Deputy Dunn, Chief Deputy Damien Dunn. And in a bout that had decent wrestling but little heat, Roy Johnson defeats Dunn in 11 minutes and 24 seconds by pinfall with our last set. Dunn and Johnson actually have great chemistry. It showed in their performances. Both men getting an in-ring performance of 42 and the match getting a 46D. No work improvements, unfortunately, but not a bad match for these two guys. They're not particularly high up the card. Dunn we haven't really seen much of. Johnson is around every now and again, whether it be in singles or part of the Shirtlifters with Jack Sexsmith. But a decent little match just to break up some of the more serious action. Following on from that, we have our Tag Team Championship match, where in a battle that had decent wrestling but not a lot of heat, British Strong Style defeat War Machine in 14 minutes and 29, when Trent Seven defeats Raymond Rowe by pinfall with a 7 stars lariat. So British Strong Style make defence number 3 of their Progress Tag Team titles. Trent Seven getting an in-ring performance of 52, Clint Margera getting a 44, Raymond Rowe a 43 and Hanson a 46. So 2 good performances by the War Machine guys, 2 good performances by British Strong Style. Trent Seven is finally sort of getting to that performance ratings that are expected from him from the start, really. He's finally sort of getting to the level he should be. Hanson, interestingly, improving in his flying skills. Clint Margera improving in his technical skills. And a 51D plus overall match rating isn't too bad. Could have been a little bit higher, but with the ratings involved, it's not too bad. It's like a decent, considering War Machine aren't high up the card, it's a decent match rating. Still got to do Clint Margera's gimmick, but we're going to wait a little bit longer just so we don't get any penalties. After that, we have unfortunately a poor match where Laura Di Matteo defeats Sierra Loxton in 11 minutes and 33 seconds by submission. Laura Di Matteo making defence number 2 of her Progress Women's title. Unfortunately, Laura and Sierra Loxton didn't click. Laura getting an in-ring performance of 39, Sierra Loxton a 33, and the match rating only getting a 40D-. So not great. We'll have to remember that Laura and Sierra don't click, and maybe they will not be getting any further matches down the line. After that, we have a match containing our Progress champion and our number 1 contender in a 6-man tag, where in a battle that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Mark Haskins and the leaders of the New School defeat CCK, Travis Banks, Chris Brooks and Kid Lykos in 14 minutes and 29 seconds when Mark Haskins defeats Kid Lykos by pinfall. Unfortunately, Chris Brooks was off his game, and because of that, he was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's performance. Brooks getting a 41, Lykos getting a 57, and Travis Banks getting a 67. And some phenomenal ratings on the other side, with Marty Skull getting a 68, Mark Haskins a 71, and Zack Sabre Jr. a 78. And Haskins also improving his performance skills as we get a 73 B- match there. Great stuff. It's a shame about Brooks, really, because that would have been a great match. If he wasn't off his game, that might have been a 75. But very, very happy with that. And it's really building up now, that hype and the tension for Haskins versus Banks on the next chapter. And following that, we have our World Cup final match. It's a good match, but after the last one, just slightly disappointing, sadly. Where I wasn't expecting that 6-man tag to be so good. But in a decent match, Adam Cole defeats Joe Coffey and Tetsuo Naito in 13 minutes and 50 seconds, when Adam Cole defeats Joe Coffey by pinfall with a last shot, and Adam Cole wins the Progress World Cup title. Adam Cole getting an in-ring performance of 59, Tetsuo Naito a 56 and Joe Coffey a 53. Cole improving his rumble skills and Tetsuo Naito improving in his performance skills. So that's really another great match. But what you don't see from this is that the two hooded figures from earlier on in the night that cost Volta that Atlas Championship match, they turned up again. They came down to ringside. They attacked Tetsuo Naito. They tried to attack Adam Cole and Joe Coffey. But before they could, Volta, annoyed at them costing him earlier in the night, he comes out, Axel Dieter Jr. alongside him. They come down to ringside. They scare off the two hooded figures. They don't get to see who it is yet. They didn't manage to catch them. But they scared off the guys. But the distraction allowing... taking out Tetsuo Naito from the action, allowing it to be just Adam Cole and Joe Coffey. Coffey going for his discus lariat, but it gets reversed by Adam Cole, who picks up the win. So Adam Cole, our World Cup champion, he gets a title shot of his choosing further down the line. You'd have to assume it would be for the Progress Championship once Mark Haskins has his challenge out of the way. So we've built ourselves up to hopefully what will be quite an interesting next show. We've got Joe Coffey will probably end up facing Volta. Volta will want a rematch. He'll want retribution after what happened earlier on in the night. We have Mark Haskins versus Travis Banks, finally one-on-one for the title. We have British Strong Style versus Leo Rush and a partner of his choice. And there'll no doubt be a women's title match and some more fun along the way. But thank you for watching this episode, guys, as we get just look here, get a 61C overall for our second night. So I think that was one rating higher than night one. We'll do our speeches, but thank you all for watching this episode. A bit longer, I know, than the last one, but we managed to get 2 shows in. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Leave your comments down in the description, down in the comment section, who you think will be Leo Rush's partner for the next show against British Strong Style. Let me know who you think will be leaving the show as the Progress World Champion, and also who you think the hooded figures are. So leave your comments in the description down below. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.